first exercise that I chose to research is breaststroke because it is one of the most difficult exercises for me to coordinate and just to execute. So I wanted to spend a little bit more time looking into it. The particular video that I watched for my research seems to be a bit more of a classical version with 3 hamstring curls and then pressing into the breaststroke. Purpose of the exercise is lumbar spine stability, thoracic and cervical extension, and shoulder and back extensor strength, flexibility, and length. She really emphasized the length of the low back and the length of the arm movements, just finding more length than crunching in this. So for our equipment setup, we've got our long box. Headrest, not applicable, I just have it down completely. Foot bar, out of the way, gearbox middle, and she had the spring setting as 1 heavy spring. So I've got my machine all set up. We're gonna grab onto our straps, bring our thumbs through the loops. We're gonna pull the carriage close to us, grab onto it, then you're gonna get onto the long box. She suggested that you get pretty far up on the box, a little bit scary, but she said to have your kneecaps on the long box. I strap underneath me. I'm gonna let my arms come back to almost straight. I'm gonna press my pubic bone into the box here. I'm trying to lift my abs, bringing my chin into alignment, and my shoulders I have already retracted here. So on our inhale, we're gonna take those 3 hamstring curls. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Then on exhale, we straighten the legs back, bring the chest up and the arms forward, pushing through that diagonal, really pressing through the sides. And then coming back into that position. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, all in one fluid motion. And returning. A variation that she offered was to reverse the arms. So you would start with those curls, 1, 2, 3, then lengthen everything back, pressing forward, bending the elbows, and returning back. Showing that one more time. Inhale, 3 kicks. Exhale, reach the legs and the arms back, pushing forward, up and over, more like a butterfly stroke, and then bringing the carriage back in here and the arms reaching back. She also suggested an advanced variation of a combo of the 2. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, lift, press back, come back in, take a pause, inhale, and then exhale right away. Reversing those arms and coming back in. Now modification would be to take that thoracic and cervical extension out of it and just practice the arm movement here. Trying to press that pubic bone in, focusing on that lumbar spine stability, and just learning the arms. You can also do this, reversing the arms as well. All right, and to get off the carriage, we would just hold on, step off, and then gently let the carriage come back in, and then you can release those straps. The second exercise that I chose to research is short spine, and I'll be explaining and demonstrating everything according to the video that I watched. So, first of all, purpose of the exercise is spinal articulation and a deep stretch for hamstrings, low back, and inner thighs. For our equipment setup, our feet are going to be in the foot straps, the bigger straps. Headrest completely down. Foot bar out of the way. Gearbox middle. So she suggested that you start with heavier springs, 2 heavy at the most, and then go down to 1 heavy. She suggested that when you're first learning to modify, using heavier springs will help your body kind of ride the carriage more and learn the movement without using necessarily as much strength. So as strength increases, we would take down springs until we get down to 1 heavy spring. So I'm going to start with a heavy and a medium. That's where I'm at right now. because I cannot adjust anything in my reformer, I shorten the straps quite a bit. So I'm gonna grab onto the straps, I'm gonna get onto the equipment, I'm gonna bring my feet to the foot bar, and I'm gonna push in until I can bring one foot and then the other foot. And we're gonna start in frog. We want back the neck totally down, chin tucked, hands down by our sides, and find that neutral pelvis to begin. So we start with an exhale, pushing the legs out to that 45-degree angle. Inhale, we're gonna start to lift the hips and reach the legs overhead here until we come all the way into the stopper. We're gonna exhale, start to bend the knees towards the headrest, and from here, keep your feet exactly where they are and continue to articulate the spine down. Inhale, once we reach this position, tailbone almost down, and then we exhale, push through to that 45 degrees again. Inhale, starting to lift the hips, articulating the spine up, feet come overhead here. We bend the knees, exhale, roll down through the spine. Inhale, once we reach very close as much as we can, and then exhale, push through. Now, like I said, to modify, heavier springs is better, and you don't try to lift your hips at the very beginning. You just kind of let the carriage do the work and then let the hips come up naturally. And then as you build strength, you can decrease your spring weight, as well as really starting to lift the hips and that articulation immediately. So that's how she suggested that you advance the movement. Now, one more variation that she offered in this video that I watched was a straddle variation. So we exhale, push out, inhale, same thing, start to lift the hips, bring those feet all the way overhead. From here, we open up the legs to the side and articulate down through that deep straddle as we circle around. Inhale, legs overhead. And then we keep the legs straight, start to open up to the sides. And then as soon as we find that tension again, starting to roll down as we circle those legs. And that is that demonstration of short spine. The third exercise that I chose for this research assignment is one that actually wasn't included in the manual, but I saw consistently through many video classes that I've taken online. It's called kneeling low abs. The purpose of the exercise is lumbar spine stability, deep low core engagement, and hip flexor strength. For our equipment setup, headrest is going to be totally down. We want the straps off the pegs, off of the equipment, just totally out of the way. Foot bar middle, gearbox middle, doesn't really matter. We're going to be facing the tower. For springs, we're going to use one heavy spring or one red spring. And we're going to get onto the equipment, knees to the shoulder rest. We're going to find our hands a bit further than directly underneath our shoulders. We want to find that neutral pelvis. We don't want to be sinking. We don't want to be rounded. So we want to find that nice neutral position and not sinking in the shoulders, pushing up and away. Now, on our exhale, we're going to pull the carriage in using the deep core. Inhale, return. So the basic exercise is exhale, engage the deep abs, pull in, and inhale, return. We're going to do 2 more of these, and then we're going to try another variation. Exhale, pull in, inhale, return. Try not to smash that stopper back in, nice and controlled. This time we're going to hold here. And we're going to add pulses for our more advanced variation. We're going to do 8, 3, exhale on the pull in, 5, 7, 8, slowly return back. And we're just going to take a little breath of release in child's pose here, just bringing the head down to the headrest here, finding our breath. And then inhaling back up, finding our position, and repeating that exhale nice and slow. Inhale, return. Making sure that we are not sinking in the shoulders or sinking in the hips or rounding, trying to keep that nice neutral position of the whole spine. I need to drop my chin just slightly. I felt like I was reaching forward with my eyes here. Exhale, pull in, inhale, return. This last one, we're gonna hold the pull in, and then we'll add those pulses. Exhale. 3, 4, 5, really targeting those deep low abs. 7, 8, slowly return, and take that child's pose once more.